We've obviously been seeing a lot of horrific, egregious ICE raids and arrests in recent months. I did a duet on my backup account just yesterday of a guy who, coming out of immigration court, I think he was in New York, a judge had just granted him asylum, and ICE agents grabbed him as soon as he came out of the courtroom and just manhandled him all the way down the hallway at a very fast pace. We've seen people arrested in front of their small children and their children crying. But they're arresting people at court and they're arresting people at work. We haven't seen them arresting criminals. They haven't held a press conference showing us criminals that they've arrested. But just horrific, egregious stuff. And I think this one might actually take the cake. In the state of Washington, yesterday, on Wednesday, August 27th, federal immigration authorities on Wednesday staged an operation on the scene of the Bear Gulch wildfire, a 9,000-acre blaze in the Olympic National Forest, where they arrested two people who were part of a contract firefighting crew. They arrested firefighters who were fighting the largest wildfire currently burning in the state of Washington. They detained a bunch of the crew members. They detained a couple of guys who were Native American. Authorities, they're fighting a fire. And federal immigration authorities was like, oh, we should go hassle those guys. They're fighting a wildfire. Authorities made the firefighters line up to show ID, as reported by the Seattle Times. One firefighter told the newspaper that they were not permitted to say goodbye to their detained colleagues. Quote, I asked them if we could say goodbye to him because they're family and they're just ripping them away, the firefighter told the Times, adding that the federal agent swore at him and told them to leave. The operation has sparked, I'm reading this from The Guardian, the operation sparked widespread condemnation in the state, including from Washington State Democratic Senator Patty Murray. She called for the Trump administration to provide immediate answers. They were fighting a wildfire. They're fighting a wildfire. And immigration authorities staged an operation at the scene of the wildfire. I can barely wrap my head around this. The Trump administration's immigration policy was, quote, fundamentally sick, said Senator Murray. She continued, Trump has wrongfully detained everyone from lawful green card holders to American citizens. No one should assume this was necessary or appropriate. The U.S. Border Patrol later on Thursday released some information on the operation, saying that it had assisted the Bureau of Land Management after that agency requested help after terminating contracts with two companies following a criminal investigation. There are no allegations that the men who were detained are criminals. They're just undocumented. And they were fighting the largest wildfire in the state of Washington at the time that they were detained. Senator Murray, in her statement, said the president had been undercutting firefighters' abilities in other ways, including by decimating the funding for the U.S. Forest Service. The administration significantly cut budgets and staffing at the agencies that manage much of the country's federal lands, leaving the U.S. unprepared for this year's wildfire season. Said Senator Murray. Here in the Pacific Northwest, wildfires can burn and have burned entire towns to the ground. We count on our brave firefighters who put their lives on the line to keep our communities safe. This new Republican policy to detain firefighters on the job is as immoral as it is dangerous. She's been a senator up there for 32 years. She continued, what's next? Will Trump start detaining immigrant service members, or will he just maintain his current policy of deporting Purple Heart veterans? They were fighting a wildfire, and federal immigration authorities staged an operation at the scene of the wildfire. First of all, it's like, who in immigration services even came up with the idea to do that? And who at immigration, federal immigration authorities approved this? It's like somebody gets this idea, hey, we should go detain these fire crews while they're fighting a wildfire and make them show us their papers. And somebody like pitched that idea to their superior. We should go hassle these guys while they're fighting the largest wildfire in the state and make them show us their papers. And the person who came up with that idea, their supervisor, was like, that's a great idea. We should definitely go do that. The fuck is wrong with these people, man? You don't even get any slack or benefit of the doubt from this administration if you're in the woods fighting a wildfire on federal land. This is just, I barely have words for this. I barely have words. But again, they're not arresting criminals. They are arresting people at work. They are arresting immigrants at work, whether it's at Home Depot, whether it's at Lowe's, whether it's at a car wash, whether they're doing landscaping, whether they're on scooters delivering food in Washington, D.C., whether it's at daycare centers, whether they're firefighters fighting the largest wildfire currently burning in the state of Washington. They are arresting people at work. They are raiding work sites. They're not arresting criminals.